Good morning. This is Tyler Harper, 17th Commissioner of Ag for the great state of Georgia, and honored to be that. Thank you for those of you that are joining us live and joining us here in person. Joining me this morning is Dr. Will Hudson with the University of Georgia College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences and Extension Service. We are here today to announce that within 2 weeks, the initial confirmation of the Yellowlegged Hornet in the Savannah area, that we have found a nest and we safely eradicated that nest by the Department of Agriculture's team of experienced scientists. And I want to thank Mike Evans and his entire team and our Plant Protection Division, our partnership with USDA and UGA that helped us get to this point and ensuring that we were tracking, found, and eradicated the nest, which is right here to my left. The Yellow-legged hornet is a non-native species to the state of Georgia and to America. As we said in our initial press conference, this is the first sighting of this hornet in the open United States. So far, we have only currently found the hornet in the Savannah area, and it can continue to threaten honey production, native pollinators, and our state's #1 industry, which is agriculture. The nest discovery, as I mentioned, was a combined effort between many of those that were involved from our team here at the Department of Agriculture, our friends at USDA and UGA as well. Our team was following the yellow-legged hornets as they were leaving the Savannah Bee Company. Property owners in that area saw information regarding the hornet and contacted the Savannah Bee Company to inform them that there might be a yellow-legged hornet nests on their property. That nest was discovered on August 18th of last week. It was approximately 85 feet off the ground in a tree. The portions that you will see in the press release that will be going out and displayed here to my left only make up about 25 to 30% of the actual nest. So this is a very small portion of the nest itself. It was a very large nest. And I think that's what is distinctive about this specific hornet, and Dr. Hudson may speak to that more specifically in just a few minutes. As an operational response, on Wednesday night of this week, on August 23rd, we decided that a night operation would be best to work to eradicate the nest. Our team, working with professionals in the pest industry, the pest control industry, made an application of permethrin, which was applied to the nest to kill the adult hornets. Applications were made to the entrance and to the interior parts of the nest, and interior parts of the nest began to break away. Tree surgeon climbed the tree almost to the nest with a hose to continue to spray application on the nest and spray that insecticide directly into the nest. As that happened, parts of the nest began to break away, and as adult hornets were exposed and they came in contact with the insecticide and were eradicated. The tree surgeon cut off the remaining part of the nest out of the tree, as you can see here. We are confident that the vast majority of the hornets that were in that nest were eradicated. Adult worker hornets are made of sterile females that have about a 2 to 3 week lifespan, so that if there are any hornets that we may have missed, we believe that they will die shortly, and they are definitely incapable of reproducing. Just a little background on yellow-legged hornets. They are a colony of social wasps. Hornets, yellow jackets, and paper wasps typically only last about a year. In late summer or early fall, the nest produces males and female queens. The queens leave those nests to find spots to spend the winter. These queens are the only members of the colony that actually survive the winter. That is why controlling nests such as this one is important in our eradication efforts of the yellow-legged hornet. In the spring, a queen selects a suitable location to construct a small round nest and begins laying eggs, gathering food, and begins raising their offspring. During the spring and the summer, the queen produces sterile female workers. These workers take over the duties of the queen of enlarging and maintaining the nest. foraging for food and caring for the larvae while the queen retires only to produce more eggs. We're obviously excited that we were able to find this nest because we know of the issues and the concerns in regards to what the hornet means as a threat to our #1 industry. And in order to protect our #1 industry, it is vital that we eradicate this hornet from our state. The finding of this nest, the eradication of this nest, and the work that our team did in doing that is an important, vital first step in that direction. As we have said, they threaten our honeybee and pollinator populations in our state, which is why we put a plan in place to track, trap, and eradicate them as quickly as possible. American farmers grow 100 different crops that depend on pollinators to ensure that their crops are produced every year. They add about $18 billion to revenue and U.S. crop production every year, and roughly 1/3 of Americans without any others. And as many of you know, agriculture is the backbone of our economy. It's our #1 industry. Over 400,000 Georgians are employed, a $75 billion economic engine. It's what we do well in our state. So it's vital that we protect this industry. It's vital that we eradicate those things that can cause harm to our state's #1 industry, and that's what we're working to do with the Yellow-Legged Hornet. As a farm boy myself, 7th generation farmer and the Commissioner of Agriculture, I understand the importance of this and understand the importance of protecting that way of life and our livelihood because of the importance it plays in the economy to our state. As we've stated, we did work closely with our friends at USDA APHIS, as well as the scientists from the University of Georgia, including Dr. Hudson, who's here today. And we will continue working closely with them, our team will, to look to see if there are any other possible nests in the area. We're going to continue our efforts until we know for certain that the Yellow-Legged Hornet is completely eradicated. We are still determining, as I've stated, if this is the only nest. We will continue to monitor, and we ask that the public help us continue to do that to see if there are any additional nests and any additional sightings of the Yellow-Legged Hornet. We will continue to trap, and our beekeeper friends and our friends in the beekeeper industry and honeybee industry have been important in this effort. So we encourage them to continue to monitor their hives for any signs of the Yellow-Legged Hornet or any activity that may be out of the ordinary, and please report that to the Department of Agriculture. We also ask that the public continue to do the same. You can find a form online on our department website, agr.georgia.gov, that you can fill out and send to us regarding any sightings that you may have. You can also email us at yella.legged.hornet@agr.georgia.gov. And so it's important and vital that we continue to be vigilant because of the role that it plays on our state's #1 industry and the impacts that it can have there. But we're really excited about this announcement today. This is a huge win for Georgia agriculture. It is a big win for the citizens of the state. And I can't thank our partners enough for the work that they have done. I can't thank our staff at the Department of Agriculture enough for the work they did in working to find, trap, eradicate this specific nest. And we look forward to continuing those efforts to ensure that we completely eradicate the Yellow-Legged Hornet in our state. So with that, Dr. Hudson, do you have any comments?
Not in particular.
Okay. So,
pretty well.
Well, I appreciate that. I'll open it up. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer those real quick.
Is there a web page where we can get near real-time updates on recent confirmed sightings, nest eradications, etc.?
There is not a website at this time regarding immediate updates, but we will continue to update the public and put out updates as quickly as possible from the department regarding our efforts, regarding any sightings, and regarding any additional nests that we may find, and eradication of those nests as immediately as possible.
Did I understand that this nest was found on a different property from that where the first sighting of Yellow-Legged Hornet was confirmed in early August? If so, how many properties has the Yellow-Legged Hornet been sighted on in Savannah area?
So currently, this nest was not on the site where the hornet was initially spotted. The nest was in a different location, but it was near the location where all of the sightings have been found. So far, I believe we've had 4 confirmed sightings on 4 different properties. But this nest was in the general vicinity of all of those locations, which is why we believe this was one of the significant, this nest was the significant, is very significant because it was in the general vicinity of all the sightings of where the hornet has been found so far in the Savannah area. But as I stated earlier, we're going to continue to stay vigilant and continue to monitor and look for any additional nest if there happens to be any in that particular part of the state.
Can you advise the best way to safely submit a photo or sample?
Dr. Hudson, you want to advise on how to safely submit a photo, how close you can get?
Now that I see the nest, I think it's clear that it's a lot easier to tell this hornet from our native ball-faced hornet, which they're about the same size insect, but the colonies are 10 times as large with this yellow-legged hornet. So instead of 500 or 600, you may have up to 5,000 or 6,000. So it's obviously a much bigger house for that many wasps. The question of how many properties, as near as we can tell, these guys will forage up to 1.5 miles at least from where the nest is. So that's why this particular nest with that many hornets could easily have provided foragers that are going out to every one of the sites that we've seen had confirmed, at least in the Savannah area. The nice thing about it is, well, it's at once the problem and the nice thing for monitoring. They really like honeybees, and this time of year they show up at honeybee hives to forage on those bees. So they're easier to find. The ball-faced hornet, people hardly ever see them because they're generally foraging on lots of different insects, and it's not necessarily in someone's backyard.
Yes, sir.
Whereas the honeybees are being monitored pretty carefully by the beekeepers and the honey company, so they notice it when it happens, and that's our advantage in terms of monitoring and trying to find it again.
Good.
So Dr. Hudson,
Also, you could go ahead.
can you determine how long that colony has been here by the size of the nest? Someone asked us that last week.
Not necessarily, except that I know that this colony was started in the spring because that's what they all do. You got one queen, she starts a colony. If she dies sometime in the establishment phase, then that's it. There are no more workers. They don't build a nest just on their own. They have to have that continued input. So this nest probably started, and this is, Georgia, South Georgia and Savannah. So it probably started in March, maybe, pretty quick after they come out of dormancy, when it starts to warm up. And then it just progressed through the season. What I would say is probably about as big as it was going to get because they're switching over to producing those reproductives that the commissioner talked about. And at that point, then the queen quits laying eggs and the colony starts to decline.
So in addition to just following up on Dr. Hudson's comments, a couple of things. One, I think it's important just to reiterate that this is only about 25 to 30% of the size of the entire nest that is laying here. This is a very large nest. As Dr. Hudson mentioned, they are different from other hornet nests, and I think that they're a little easier, I think, to distinguish from typical hornet's nest, and I think that's important. Also, regarding reporting, we do have a form, as stated, on our website at agr.georgia.gov on our home page. You will see a link there that you can go to that link and fill out that form. Regarding taking pictures, obviously if you eradicate what you believe is a yellow-legged hornet, take a picture of it and submit it with that form. But obviously you want to be safe in doing any of that because the possibilities of getting injured or stung. And I will have to say this, I'm also proud to report in all of our efforts in eradicating this nest, nobody on our staff or our team or anybody involved in the eradication Wednesday night Nobody was stung, nobody was injured, nobody was hurt. So we were able to safely do it with our team, and we're really proud of that success.
How many sightings have there been so far, and were they all within a 1.5 mile radius of this nest?
So my understanding was we've only had 4 confirmed locations and sightings. All of those areas, I'm not. They're not all within the 1.5 mile radius of this nest, but they are within the general vicinity of this nest. And we can get those specific answers. We can reach back out and get the specifics of exactly how far all of those sightings were, but we do know that they are in the exact general vicinity of where this nest is located, which we believe is where most of those hornets, if not all of the hornets that have been spotted and confirmed in those 4 locations, come from this specific nest. But obviously, as I stated earlier, we're going to continue to stay vigilant. We're not, just because we have eradicated a nest, doesn't mean that we're not going to continue to ensure that we're watching and looking for other additional sightings or possible nests that may be in the area. And we're going to continue working until the hornet is completely eradicated. That it? Well, thank y'all again very much. Thank you for joining us. Again, I just want to say one more time my extreme appreciation to our team at the Department of Agriculture and our Plant Protection Division specifically in the work that they did and going above and beyond and working tirelessly over the last couple of weeks and continuing their work as well as our partnership with Dr. Hudson and our friends at the University of Georgia and the College of Agriculture and at USDA-APHIS. I can't thank them enough. We're going to continue to work tirelessly to ensure that this issue is addressed, that the hornet is eradicated, and that agriculture continues to be successful. Thank y'all for joining us. We'll continue to update you as information becomes available. Thank y'all very much. Y'all keep plowing.